my thoughts on religion and its role in the world today, and whether there is an important role for it and what it should be doing. My parents were Jewish, and so I had to go to Hebrew school and all that. And I was kind of slightly put off by organized religion because it didn't relate to anything personally. It wasn't like my experience. There didn't seem to be anything especially spiritual about it. But later in life, I found that that was something that I really, really miss. That's actually something very important for all of us to experience. Namely, the sense that there is something much larger than us as an individual. There's some force, there's some power. You can call it life itself, you can call it the energy of the universe, you can call it God, whatever it is. But there's something that transcends us. And it's also the subject of a lot of the book that I'm currently writing. And so this feeling that you are part of something immense, that it's actually an amazing, that life itself is this insane phenomenon, is a religious feeling because it takes you out of yourself. It makes you feel like there's something much greater than your personal ego, that there's something transcendent in life, okay? And so I'm not somebody, though, that likes to preach morality, as you may probably guess by my book, The 48 Laws of Power. I find kind of telling people what they should do is very counterproductive. I like to think that people are adults, they have to make their own choices, and that if your parents didn't raise you in the right way, all of my trying to tell you how to behave is going to be worthless. And then the other thing that I believe that sometimes religions don't teach, that they should, and some religions at their core do actually teach, and Christianity it teaches, is tolerance for other people. We are not perfect. Human beings are flawed creatures. We are flawed animals, which is the subject of the laws of human nature. And so recognizing that we are flawed and that we are not perfect and there is something much greater than who we are can build a sense of humility. So religion that makes you look inward, that makes you look at yourself, that puts things in perspective, that makes you realize there's something so immense about life itself and the mystery of death that it takes you out of the banalities of your everyday existence. And so I think it's a huge need that people are craving so deeply right now. It is why I am writing my book on the sublime, because we are creatures that are conscious. We're aware of our mortality. We're aware that someday we're going to die, and it weighs on us all of the time. And so it has been the source of spirituality, of a need for believing that there's something greater than our individual existence. And today, so much of that spirit has been crushed out of us by the sheer banality of our daily life, the sheer banality of social media, all the stupid, trivial things that we are immersing with, all the trivial information that is flooding our brains. And I believe that the role of religion, the role of spirituality is to take us out of that, to make us aware of something much greater, something much more important, something about the fact that we're all facing death. I'm reading a book right now that I'm going to be using in the Sublime book. It's called Miracle in the Andes. It's a beautiful book. It's about a famous story of a plane crash in the Andes. And it's one of those insane survival stories. But the young man that wrote this book, he came from a religious background, but he didn't believe that God was watching him in this experience. But he sensed it. He sensed the presence of something really powerful in the struggle of life and death, and in the mountains, and in this insanely imposing struggle that he and his friends had to go through. And so he found a different form of spirituality and a different kind of religion in that. The only other thing I would say is I'm Jewish. I have read the New Testament, and I'm very familiar with the New Testament and the story of Christ, which has always attracted me since I was a child. But I'm deeply disturbed by how this religion of love, this religion of acceptance, this religion of love thy neighbor as thy love thyself, and the sense that we are flawed individuals, we are sinful, is completely bastardized, is completely perverted. Many of the forms of Christianity that I see today, this incredible religion of love and acceptance has turned into something very polarizing and full of actually a lot of animus and a lot of hatred. And I wish somehow this religion could turn back to its origins, which celebrated not wealth and not becoming the most richest person in the world, but the poverty, that the weakest, that the meekest shall be the ones that get into heaven. This kind of sympathy for those who have less than us. This is sort of the source of my book, one of the things in my book. I wish the religions of this world would go back more to their origins, to how they were thousands of years ago, to when they were more pure and really were about something much greater than our individual lives and our daily political struggle. How do I handle, me personally, the process of aging? And what are the pros and cons of it, of actually getting older? So for me, the process of aging has been a largely, sometimes kind of painful experience, mostly because of the physical aspect, where the things that you used to do, you can't do anymore. Your body starts breaking down. You have more kind of pains and things like that. And you have to slow down. You can't like lift as many weights. You can't swim as many laps. You can't run as many miles. And so you have to accept that. And for somebody like me, it's been very difficult. I've accepted it. And so the process of handling aging is learning to accept something that's inevitable, that you can't obviously change. And that in accepting it, it loses its power to kind of bother you and disturb you. And you sort of see that aging is fine. You kind of go along with it. And so I notice a lot of people, particularly in my generation, who won't accept these things. They're just going to exercise as much as they did before. They're going to work out as hard as they did before. Or they're going to find all of these miracle drugs, all of these miracle things that keep their body from aging. And I understand it because I understand the spirit behind it, but at some point, you have to come to terms with this is what happens to you. You know, your eyesight starts weakening. Your hearing isn't as good as it used to be. You know, many, many things that happen like that. And so learning to accept things is a very, very powerful skill and something you have to do in life. There's a book that I read, it's not a perfect book, but I enjoyed mostly, is a book called Radical Acceptance, Tara Brach, and she's a practicing Buddhist and American. She's a very interesting writer. And the idea comes from Buddhism, and the idea is to radically accept all of the circumstances that have come to you in life and to embrace them, because that's just it. You can't control these things. And it's sort of similar to amor fati, embracing everything that happened. Sometimes I get frustrated and angry, particularly with my stroke, that I can't pick things up or I can't walk the way I used to do, and I start getting angry. And then I go back and I go, that's just ridiculous. These are just circumstances. It's not good or bad. It's who I am. It's just life as it is. Just learn to accept it. Calm down, calm down, calm down. So the process of aging is learning to go with it. Now, you can go too far with that, and you can slow down and go, damn it, I'm turning 60. I'm just going to sit at home. I'm just going to I'm not going to do anything, you know? You age in your mind mentally before you physically fall apart. And so here I am in my 60s. I'm getting up in my 60s, I'm afraid to say. And I take bike rides. The pros of it are things that used to matter to me that got me so angry and upset when I was younger. I don't care anymore. I don't care so much what people think about me. If I'm in a social situation and everyone wants to go out to some club or to some party afterwards, I go, no, I want to go home. I'm tired. You know, I got to get some rest. They'll start going, oh, come on. I don't care. I don't give a shit what you think about me. I'm going home. Whereas when you're in your 20s, you really cared what people thought about you. You want to go along with the group or the crowd. I don't care anymore. I just do what I want to do. Things that mattered to me when I was in my 20s or 30s, they just don't matter to me anymore, particularly now since I've kind of faced death face to face very closely. That's not important. That doesn't matter because we all die, and you know, it just loses its significance to you. The cons are a loss of energy and a loss of kind of innocence. When you're in your 20s, there are all these films and books and cultural things that you've never seen before. It's so exciting to see things for the first time. It's so exciting to go to Paris for the first time, right? Wow, what a great world. Now I've seen it all. It doesn't have that impact for me as much. And the energy level is down. So I'm not as excited or as enchanted by things as when I was young. And I really miss that. And I struggle to try and get over that and return to that youthful spirit that I miss very deeply. But on the other hand, the calmness that comes with aging and the acceptance and the fact that I'm not so frantic. The thing that really bothers me and that I really kind of hate is people who won't accept death, who believe that they can live forever, that they can find a way to extend their life to when they're 150 years old. And I go, Jesus Christ, if I lived till I was 150, everybody I knew would be dead. I'd be alone in this world with all these young people who are not interesting to me at all. They're things that the books that they write, the films that they make, I don't care about it. I feel so alone that it would be hell. It'd be hell to live that long and see all of your family, all of your friends, all the people that you cared for dead and gone and this whole strange world emerging. No, it's okay to die. It's okay to leave this world. That is part of the experiment. That's part of the game that was given to us. You get these 50, 60, 80 years to be on this planet and have fun, and then it's over, like every animal, every insect has ever had to experience. So just having that perspective and accepting it and accepting death and embracing it in some way has been a very positive aspect of getting older for me. If I could go back to my 20s though, tomorrow, I would do it in a flash, so don't get me wrong.